Hey guys, Paul from Ashen. It is new comic book day for the week of January 15th. We're going to get started right now. This episode brought to you by Shirts. Buy one. If you like what you see here, don't forget to hit the subscribe button and hit the notification so that way they can't even see that.
They can't see that.
He was trying to point to other stuff, and it's just like, there you go. Just make sure you hit the notification button so that way you know when our videos go live, because sometime next month the time will be changing slightly, and you want to make sure you know when that is.
I'm crushing your head. Hey guys, Tim from Capes and Scowls. Here I am, doing the thing I always do. Isn't that pleasant? Trades. Dragon Ball Super, Volume 7? 7. This thing's still going strong. We have Oz, the complete collection. This is actually a really awesome find. It's only $16, and it's just everything Scotty Young and his Wizard of Oz universe. Green Lantern Legacy. This is a $10. It's for kids. Seems cool. That's all I can give you, really. We've got Frozen. I'm Elsa. I'm Anna. Fantastic. Paul, let it go, Paul. When are we going to go see Frozen 2, buddy?
I mean, yeah.
Yeah, let's do it. I got to know what happens in the continued adventures. I watched that first Frozen so many times. I got a little girl. She watched it a lot. So where like you're remembering the entire dialogue and you're like, it's too much. The Amazing Adventures of Batman. We've got Reptile Raid, The Terrible Twos, The Big Freeze, and Bane Drain, my favorite. They play baseball, apparently. We have Savage Sword of Conan, Volume 2. We have Birds of Prey Black Canary. She doesn't look anything like that actress. That's weird. Amazing Spider-Man Maximum Carnage getting the epic treatment from Marvel. Over My Dead Body. I don't know anything about this, but I do like the people attached to it. The Forever Maps from Scout Comics. Scout I reviewed last week, a Scout comic. We've got John Constantine Hellblazer Regeneration. This is maybe the end. It's not telling me in a quick way, so I'll move on. It's issues 250 to 260. I forget what number that ended on. We have Lazarus, Volume 6. Paul likes Lazarus.
I did.
He did. I have way too many Absolute Carnage trades. These are the tie-in trades. Scream, Miles Morales, Immortal Hulk and Other Stories, and Lethal Protectors. So many tie-ins. Killer Groove, I read this. It's great. You should read it too. It's from Aftershock. Contagion, I read this. It's mostly great. Hi, Ed Brisson. Scooby Apocalypse Volume 6. I believe this is the end of this as well. Never got into it, but a lot of people dug it. That's enough for me. And finally, we're ending, with Nightwing. I've read this. I have this whole run in issues. It took forever. This is by Peter J. Tomasi. Good stuff. You should read it if you never have.
First issue. You know, one of the running jokes that we have in this thing is we each have a book that we hate. Like, just like really hate. For Tim, it's Planetoid Praxis. He just despises that book right down to the letters. For me, it was Sword of Ages. Sword of Ages was the worst book I had ever read. Not anymore. We have Venom, The End. This is the worst book I've ever read. It is written in the style of Hitchhiker's Guide to the Galaxy, and it's supposed to be as funny and as dumb and as quirky as that is. But it fails. It fails so miserably, it made me angry. This is supposed to be the end of Venom, and I guess they're doing all these ends of like superheroes that are past the end of their lives, like 20 years, 30 years. Venom for Venom, it's 1.8 trillion years into the future, and he has to explain how and why he got there, why he's still fighting against Tony Stark as a super AI and how he literally recreated a universe with himself as the god. I haven't read Venom in a while. I don't know all of these new powers, but I know one of them can't be cloning human life and recreating human life and time travel and all of the things that happen in this stupid book. This is dumb. If you buy it, I will judge you. That is how dumb this book is. Sword of Ages is a masterpiece compared to this book.
I'm smiling.
I know Tim's smiling because he's like, I see the hate. I see the hate. He's not used to seeing me mad or angry at a book. This is the dumbest book I've ever read. If you want to buy this book, just because you want to see how stupid a story can be, that is the only reason I can see buying this book. It is dumb. It is terrible. It is expensive. No, it's not that expensive. It's $5. But still, it's $5 you can be spending on anything else this week. Don't do this.
All right, people, let's get this going. I've got the question. The Death of Vic Sage, issue 2 in this big old giant format. This is, again, Jeff Lemire, Dennis Cowan, Bill Sienkiewicz, and Chris Sotomayor. These are people very much associated with the question. This book is very strange. I'm very confused, but I love it, and it really doesn't matter that I'm a little confused. I think I'm supposed to be confused. Basically, it's the question in the Old West as a outlaw westerny kind of character. Deals with racism, of course, in the Old West. And it has some shocking moments. It has some violence I wasn't really expecting. And just really dark, this book. And it's going weird places. The third issue is going to go even weirder places, it seems. But yeah, very interesting story. And I really like the layout. The layout was really cool because the art's weird. It's presented in a weird way, I should say. So I really like the setup and everything. Just really makes this an interesting thing to look at. It's cool in this bigger format as well. If you loved issue 1, you'll probably love this as well. I don't recommend just diving into this, so track down an issue 1 if you're going to try it out.
Next up, we have Dragon Age Blue Wraith. This is an interesting book because I believe it glosses over a lot of information that I believe you probably have to know going into this book. And I'm not a big fan of those types of books because I believe that each series should be able to stand on its own. So it really does yada yada over a lot of Dragon Age lore and bounces around to places that I'm assuming are important or Easter eggs to people that know the story. However, the first 10 or so pages, as I would feel, are all just, this happens over here, before we really get to the main story, which seems very interesting. I like how this is written. Even though this is, I think, poorly conceived, it is written very well, and the art is really, really good. So I'm interested in giving this another try. It's only 3-issue mini, but it's very hard to even give you a plot of what's going on. The Blue Wraith is an elven liberator in this world, and you're finding the daughter of one of these overlords is trying to find his father and trying to find her father and get her away from this guy. And it's kind of how the book goes. Again, I believe you really do have to know some Dragon Age to at least decipher a lot of what's going on. From that aspect, it was a little bit hard to read. However, now that the groundwork is laid out, I think the next 2 issues should run a lot smoother, and I'm interested to see if the story gets better because of that. So if you're looking for a flyer, or if you do read other Dragon Age titles, or if you've played the games or anything like that, this might be a much better book for you. Check it out.
Well, guys, I read this. It's Iron Man 2020, issue 1. We don't need this book at all. I know they did it because we're actually in the year 2020 now, but this is just a very convoluted, stupid story that we didn't need. It's about Arno Stark, the Iron Man 2020. This was written by Dan Slott. I don't want to go on a tirade, but I haven't enjoyed some Dan Slott in a very long time. Like, a long time. Like, maybe ever. So, this is... I literally picked up this book, and I said, no, I'm not going to like this. And I was like, I can do it, Paul. I can like this. I didn't. No, I did. I actually hated this book. I don't think it's Planetoid Praxis bad for me, but it's close. It's not great. Basically, what you have is
better than Venom.
It probably is better than Venom. Not by much. This is Tony Stark is dead, and it's his adoptive brother taking on Iron Man, and it's machines versus humans, and he's just murking machines left and right, and like the life model decoys are trying to... It's really dumb. Machine Man shows up. I was just really... It's like explaining it and saying it out loud kind of insults me. I hated this. I wish I didn't. I tried real hard not to. You heard me grumbling over there. I tried. Please don't buy this. Don't support it. There's a whole checklist in the back. Don't buy any of those books. We don't want stuff like this, Marvel. Please, no more. Stop making this painful for me. I just, I don't have to love everything, but can you not? Maybe not? Buddy? Old Marvel old pal?
And my pick of the week, not necessarily because it was the best book. It was a decent book. I liked it. But I think it was just Process of Elimination, because we had the worst possible book ever created. And they had a book that requires a lot of information that you needed. This, all you had to do is just read the first issue. Lucy Clare Redemption, issue number 2. I like it because it's kind of a universe-expanding issue where you get to meet all of these other cooler characters, not just the defenseless fodder that you met in the first issue. And you get to know more about Lucy and more about the war that is happening. This is a good title, and the art is really great, and the writing is smart. And it's definitely something I want to check out more of. So do yourself a favor, track down the first issue of this, and then check out the next issue, because I thought it was really, really good, and I want to see the next one.
Paul, I think it's interesting that you and I both had like a bunch of books that were just like all over the place. Like, I can't recommend The Question 2 if you didn't read issue 1. There's no real good way to just dive into that. And that Iron Man thing, I wish never happened, just like your Venom book, you wish never happened. But we don't get that luxury. We review books. So, thankfully, I have a good book.
I was worried.
Thankfully, I have one good book. It's Jessica Jones, number 1. Jessica Jones Blind Spot, which I believe is a 6-issue mini. If I read this correctly, which, who knows? I might have. Yeah, I still don't know. Anyways, this is by Kelly Thompson. I really dig Kelly Thompson. I like her style of writing. The artist is really good. Matea de... Look, I can't talk. I can't pronounce any of these names. I knew I shouldn't have tried, and I wish I didn't. You just Google it. That artist is great. This book is Jessica Jones. Starts off with her just kind of having a good day with Luke and the baby, and she goes back to her office, and she finds a dead body, as you do, and she is instantly swarmed by police and realizes she's been set up in some manner. The rest of the issue is trying to figure out what has happened, what is her connection to the woman that she finds in her office. Spoiler, there is one. And you go on a wild ride with her, and the last couple pages will really confuse you. I don't think it's that confusing. I think it's awesome. And it'll leave you wanting more. This is wild. This is wild, Kelly Thompson. Good for you. This stuff's wild. Good job, Kelly Thompson. There's a nice little thing at the end there where she talks about Brian Michael Bendis asking her to write Jessica Jones for him, since he's no longer with Marvel. And, man, you won't see this coming. This is a very interesting book. You should read it, because you like Kelly Thompson. She does good work. Alright, guys, it's the end of the video. I don't really have anything to promote, neither does Paul. I mean, I got podcast stuff coming out. There's a trade review on Thursday, and there's a Does Pat Get It on Friday. So if you like audio podcasts, go check that out. Paul, you're a wonderful human being. I trashed you on Twitch. I was trying to mess with you, but I drank too much, so I was just nice to you. It's very strange.
Yeah, it was unnerving.
It was unnerving. I was just like, I love you, Paul. You are so good.
It's one of those things where it's like you're a battered spouse kind of thing, where it's like no matter how nice you are, you're expecting the slap afterwards, and that's how it was the whole night, because it was just like, when's it coming? When's it coming? And it never did.
Wait for it.
Until now. Here it is.
Here it is. Here's the wind-up, Paul. Check Paul out on Twitch. He plays Dauntless, and you just fight giant lizards, and you slap them in the rear end, and that's how you defeat them, apparently.
I mean, just that one.
I mean, I think I pretty much saw a bunch of like techie wizardy people with guns shooting dinosaur-looking things in the rear end for hours upon end. That's what I remember seeing, Paul. That's about all everybody did. It wasn't just you. It was everybody. Everybody's like, shoot this thing in the ass.
Because while you were there, we shot the same one like 4 or 5 different times, and that's kind of where you stand.
I don't care.
Huh?
You got to look. I'm a guy who knows nothing about nothing.
True.
Watching you shoot dinosaurs in the ass. That's what I saw.
I mean, you're not wrong.
I'm not wrong. That is what I saw. But that's it. If you want to go see Paul on Twitch, you can. Team Ashen on Twitch. You can be like, hey, Paul, I want you to listen to this awful band I like, this weird metal you won't like. It's really fun because he'll put it on and he'll be like, ugh. You get like kind of like a reaction video at the same time as you see a guy shoot a dinosaur in the ass. If you didn't know you needed that in your life, well, you can go do that. When do you play that game? Every Monday?
Every Monday and Wednesday.
Monday to Wednesday.
Monday and Wednesday.
Monday and Wednesday. Yeah, you're here now. I get it.
Yeah, not playing it this moment.
You can go home and play it.
No, not going to, because I got to edit this video.
Maybe you'll add it on Tuesdays when we change our time slot?
No.
I'm trying, people. You
Because
need more dinosaurs.
Ashley's usually on at this time.
Uh-huh.
So I can't, because there's already somebody there.
I stopped doing the outro there so I could do a future Paul. You got to edit out the future Paul so that
I know. You just.
So now this just looks weird.
It's such now you've actually given me work, because it's like that actually requires extra editing. Thanks.
It's called the slap bit.
There it was.
is. There it was. Future Paul. How are you, buddy?
I'm not editing that one out.
I don't care.